Okay, we're going to look a little bit at levels, but first before I get there I want to show you a little something on your screen that can be helpful in indicating whether you're working with a high key, low key, or kind of a chiaroscuro image, or even something with some tenebrism in it. Now if you notice on your screen, this is probably how your screen would look. You have an image open and you have a little smaller thumbnail version up here to the right. If you click on the histogram tab, you will see this kind of a graph with like a black, sort of black mountain range in it, or something like that. What this is here to do is, this is also similar to what appears on your camera. Sometimes if you're looking on your camera screen and you see this weird graph that comes up, oh, what is this? What's going on? Well, that's an indicator of the values in the photo. Now, when I look at this photo, I know that I took this with the purpose of low key for an example for you, but when I go to my histogram, the areas on the left are your darks, the ranges in the middle are your middle tones, and then to the far right are your highlights. So as I can see, this mountain range is mostly on the dark end. So I can tell that this is mostly a low-key image. If I have open this image, we can see I'm kind of all over the place. I don't have any, I have some highlights, they're kind of sharp. Okay, so this would probably be more of a chiaroscuro type image because my mountain range is kind of all over the place. This image here would also be a good example of some chiaroscuro because my mountain range is pretty even. Okay, and then this image also. Now, if you ever see any strong peaks that kind of go, all the way up like a straight line, that's indicating you may have some areas of overexposure, especially if they're all the way over on the right. And photographers will use the histogram on their camera to kind of indicate, what they might have to do with their settings to change it. So, maybe doing some of your ISO or changing your aperture settings or your shutter speeds so that you could get a more even ranged in exposure. So that's what that is about. With levels, if I were to take this image and use levels with it, I would see that same histogram. And I could change the levels of shadows, midtones, or highlights in that by clicking on the arrow, and here I'm adding, more shadows. Here I can maneuver and take away some midtones, add some more midtones, so on and so forth. And then with my highlights, here I could make it brighter. So in essence, messing around with the levels might be one way that you can, adjust. If you're pushing for more of a high key image, you can add more highlights to kind of push that a little bit. You can also use levels if you look at an image and you're like, ooh, I don't know, the shading or the value ranges look a little off. You could just go into levels and choose auto, and it will automate what, based on the readings of the picture, how those value ranges should actually look. So you can do that, and that would be one way to change that. The other way, I'm going to actually reset this, and you can reset any change that you're doing in Photoshop just by holding your Alt key and clicking this reset, and it'll bring it right back. I mean, you can also hit cancel, but if I wanted to stay in here and do something else, it just saves the time from closing it and opening it back up again. However, I am going to close it, and I'm going to change this image to black and white because we are going to be changing our images to black and white. A lot of times when I change my images to black and white, I like to also change the levels in them. Because again, with a colored image and then converting it to black and white, you're kind of using this automatic change. And when you have that automatic change, it's kind of figuring out what those, what tone of gray that color will convert to. And sometimes we want to pull more darks out or more lights out than what we've actually captured. So then, as you can see here on the right hand side in my layers box, I have my image and then the black and white change is there. I can also go to my levels and add a levels change on top of that. I can try my auto. Don't know if I like that. I can hit Alt to reset it. I can add in some darker. See, I really like how the depth of these eyes and the nose are coming out a lot better when I add some more darks to it. So that could be a way that you adjust things. Even though you've turned it to black and white, you can still make some more changes there. Let's just take a look at how that looks. I'm going to hit OK. So here we have, again, my background image, the black and white change, and now my levels change. I can show and hide or get rid of these changes at any time. Just, of course, remember that you're always choosing it from the black and white circle here in your layers box. Okay, because it will make this change editable for you. You can go back and change it. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to just click on the eye, and this is what it looked like just in black and white. And then when I click on that space again, so that's the show and hide function of those different options. So with the black and white, you know, I can show and hide the differences there, but we already know color, black and white, right? So again, I can tell that, you know, I did get a little bit more of a full range of value when I added some dark levels and it gave it a little bit more depth. So I definitely like the black and white change with the levels on this image. This one seems a little too gray. And you can add as many different changes as you want and hide as many different changes. You can even move them in your layers box and stack them. Sometimes when you stack them differently, it will react slightly differently to each layer. Here I don't see much of a change, maybe just a little bit there. So you can just maneuver them that way and get what you like. So this was levels with a black and white change. You can use levels to indicate the value range in your image. You can use the histogram at the top. But see how a combination of these changes gives you the image that you want.